Shalom, Yashala, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh. I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Yasharallah. Kol Elohim La Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Harachakodash, for blessing our elders with the spirit of truth so that we may know. Shout out to the Akim and the Akwaf that's keeping the faith in the works. Y'all keep at it. This is your brother Abaya coming at you with more precepts. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 64 and verse 8. It says, "So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away." All right. Edom's future is on full display because they are constantly speaking about it. And they're constantly speaking about it because they are making moves towards it. Right? They are getting the minds of the people prepared for things to come. Because through Hollywood movies, right, and through basic, getting old fears, right? Like you can listen to your great grandma or your grandma speak about things of old and things of today and the comparison of the two and the fear that they have of not being able to keep up. That's a natural human, feeling and emotion, right? All of those things equate to people being skeptical of Edom's future because Edom's future is full of technology. But here's the twist. Edom's technological future is basically the fusion of technology and man. And like I said, I'm speaking more on the subject because they are moving towards that subject. Right? That's why everything is going digital. From the cars to power. Right? The big to-do about semiconductors. Right? Moving away from fossil fuels and moving more towards clean, quote unquote, clean energy. All right. They're basically letting you know this world is going digital. Right. And in this particular video, listen to the calm and soothing voices that is going over the subject and listen to the subject. With that, I'm going to let this video play and I'll be back.
Yeah, I think I wanted to share, so the way we experience our world is really filtered through our brain. So anyone who has had a catastrophic injury of the brain or a loved one who has experienced that or a brain injury knows that your world and the way that you navigate in it is altered. So brain technology has this opportunity to really have this transformative therapeutic potential. So if someone like you showed there who might have ALS or have had a stroke so they can't communicate anymore, now is enabled a social life that they didn't have before. My area of work used to be Parkinson's disease, where we'd have stimulators put in for people to restore movement. And I watched in the operating room as we turned on the stimulator, an individual who had uncontrollable movements be smoothed out with the changes in stimulation with electrical activity. And then there are people who have received that same kind of deep brain stimulation to alleviate intractable, untreatable depression. And there are reports from patients there who say that actually self-report claim being a cyborg, but at the same time would say that their humanity was actually restored by having this device. They now can live their life to the fullest. And at best, I think that's what a future we're striving for, technologies that can help empower people to live their fullest and their best lives.
So, Kurt, on YouTube, I've got Alman, and Alman is listening to our conversation, and Alman describes this as a nightmare. BCI is the nightmare, and can be highly dangerous for humanity. Do you get that instant fear that comes from members of the public? Do you understand that, and how do you address it?
Yeah, it's actually for me. I can see the concern because I think it's whether it's the media or even within movies. This is a deep technology and very on the forefront of technology. And I think Karen Anna explained it very well about some of the concerns and some of the things that we need to continuously look at as far as how this technology evolves. But when I look at this application to humans, we're talking about a very specific population, and these are patients that are locked in. We're considered locked in. They have ALS. They have very progressive diseases, and this is where they no longer have functions of their hands, their feet, such as Stephen Hawking's, and so this gives them that independence. So when you have that type of severe paralysis, and there's actually more people than you think. There's over 5 million, I think, that are in that severe paralysis around the world. So there's a lot of people out there that I think would like to regain that independence, that individuality, be able to commute, be able to get back to their daily livings to some degree. And so when I look at that, that's where we're focused. That's what our mission is, to help be very patient focused and to ensure we create that independence for that patient. And so I think we're a very long way from this being applied to an able-bodied person, and here
a long way, right? He didn't say it won't. We're not thinking about that. He didn't say this is for recovery purposes. He just said it's a long way, which in Edom talk mean they already working on it now.
Synchron again, our focus. You have to go through that clinical path and the FDA and the regulated path, and so it's very important that there's utility and functionality for patients out there.
Anna, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the fear or that instinctual thought, like, oh my God, right, what's going to happen? We have BCIs. I think that comes from this idea of a technology being able to potentially read our thoughts. And it's important to say that we're not there yet. We're not completely reading thoughts at the moment. But, I think it's also important to...
Notice she said completely, right? We're not completely reading thoughts at the moment. Your smartphone has a certain artificial intelligence that knows you. It learns you, right? That's why when you go to Google, certain things pop up instantly. That's why when you open your phone up, you're scrolling through social media, certain things pop up instantly.
Point out that when we think about reading thoughts, it's important to think about what can be inferred about us right now from other means. So, for example, right, on my phone, right, there's location data that people can take. There's my browsing histories, Gmail, right? Google has my emails. They have a whole profile of me. So there's so much already based on my digital trail that can be inferred about my private life. And there's currently not good protections for that sort of data. So for me, the fear actually starts there from everything that's already being gathered about me. And so I wouldn't say that privacy with brain-computer interfaces is not a concern. It is a concern, but I think we have to start from, all the information that's already being currently gathered about us.
Some of our viewers are listening to this conversation, watching this conversation and saying, what is this got anything to do with Elon Musk and Neuralink? And Elon Musk and Neuralink is one private company who are looking into brain-computer interface. I'm going to show you part of their live test that they did on November the 30th, so a little while ago. And what you will see here is a monkey sipping on, I think it's like a banana shake, so that's what's in its monkey's mouth. But he's got a brain implant in his brain, and he is asking for snacks, and then along comes a little tablet, and he decides which snack he wants to have. You have to believe all of this is actually happening. So you have to believe the science, because all I'm seeing is the video. And I'm a little skeptical as to the monkey really asking for those snacks. And who's to say that a monkey doesn't think about snacks every 60 seconds anyway? So I feel that there's some issues there. But that's just because I'm probably a little bit skeptical here. But there's a point that came from one of our viewers who wondered about experimentation and experimenting on animals. Is that just what happens in this field of science? Do you experiment on animals before you go to humans? Anna, can you start?
Sure. So the answer to that is yes. You usually experiment on animals before you go to humans, and you usually start with smaller animals, and then you proceed to mammals before you get to humans. You have to establish certain, safety and reliability, even in the animal studies, before you can move to humans. The reports that have come out about animal use at Neuralink, I would say, are concerning.
and they're concerning mostly because of the number of animals. Again, if these reports are correct, that are being used. So the number of animals that were used, I forget the exact number in the reports, but it was far more than it's typically used in a study. Another concerning point here is that there were a number of internal reports that were brought up. So there were employee complaints, again, allegedly, about what was going on at Neuralink. And 2 employees, according to, again, the reports, actually left the company because of concerns about how animals were being treated. So from the outside, again, based on the investigative report, it does seem like what was happening at Neuralink was actually going a bit further, and I mean that not in a good way, a bit further than what's normally done.
So I know it's a lot. I know we keep pushing. Neuralink. It's a lot. 1 second. Okay, so I know Neuralink keeps getting pushed, but that's because Neuralink is more so in the forefront of this because of its owner, Elon Musk, right? Who is like the Tony Starks, the real life Tony Starks, right? This man putting money towards spaceships and trips to outer space and the whole Tesla thing. But it's other companies that's doing the same work, and Neuralink really ain't in the forefront of the work. They're in the forefront of the image, but not of the work.
In research companies.
I want to, and turn back to the important point that Anna started with too about notions of mind reading. I mean, that's just so.
And if you notice, the 2 on the right contradict the lady with the glasses on in certain points constantly, right? And the reason why is the lady on the left with the glasses on, with the clear glasses on rather, she's an ethical director. So in order to appease to the people that is watching the show, because this show really was live, right? So I'm going over something that was done live. So to appease the people that are watching, they had to have an ethical individual, like I guess you could call her an ethical police, to calm the people on certain topics, because certain topics were trigger points, right?
This popular narrative of mind reading, and even perpetuated, I think, through the Elon Musk, kind of sci-fi fiction that's so pervasive these days around brain uploading and downloading, that just isn't grounded in the reality of the science of today. And we're constantly fighting against that. Even if that's a desire, it's not where we are. And what is mentioned by Kurt and the technology that we have for brain decoding, which is actually a really involved. You asked, what does a patient experience? They experience a lot of effort. They experience a deep relationship with the researcher, where they have to learn how. Most of us are very lucky in that we can just think we want to say something and it comes out without any processing or real effort. These patients have to really concentrate and figure out how to connect that to the technology and then get it to do what they want to. I mean, this sometimes can take years for some of these prosthetic devices to work. So it's not like there's this one-to-one, I want to move, I want to talk, this thing comes out. It's actually quite difficult. So we're really far from being able to do that.
So notice she says sometimes it take years, and they really far from having technology being introduced inside of man that will allow a command to be instantly responded to. Watch what old boy finna say.
Go ahead.
And I do actually, Karen, it's a couple things. I'd love to make just a couple comments around, just with, the Elon Musk, and I'm not here to comment on Neuralink at all, but what I say in general, and especially how they're testing and stuff, but what I say in general, I think competition and more people that are focused on this and developing these technologies is a good thing for patients, I think, at the end of the day. And so I think that's just broadly speaking of how we're looking at this. And but we obviously have to follow the regulated and the rules of the governance of the countries that we reside in and things like that. As far as like how close and how reality, I think how close we are. Our technology is again a very minimally invasive. It's not tethered to anything or a computer or anything. in within a short period of time. So I agree that it's almost like riding a bike. You have to train your body to do something that it's not doing today, like a motor intent.
Do you mind if we show an animation? Because some of this is you kind of have to see it to really appreciate it. So we've got an animation.
That'd be great for me, yeah.
Let's play this animation, and then you can tell us what we're looking at, because it really helps. Here we go, Kurt.
Yep. Yeah, so this is the stentroid device right here that's up in the sinus or the vein up above the motor cortex of the brain. So the neat thing about the stentrode in the synchron switch system is that we navigate up into the brain through the blood vessels. And that allows a very minimally invasive approach to apply this type of BCI technology. Once that recording head is in that vein above the motor cortex, we can now read those raw digital signals, motor intent signals. As a matter of fact, you can see the device right here that I'm holding. So it's just like a stent-like device.
Yeah. Hold it right in front of your face, Kurt. There you go.
Can you see it at all?
Put it in front of your face, because we see your face. Yeah, there we go. We see it now.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it looks like a stent. And stents have been used for, probably the last 20 years, especially in the coronary space and stuff. So we've balanced the technologies that are out there to be able to go through the blood vessel and read the signals from the brain. And again, within a very short period of time, we're talking weeks, that the person now has there is some training. So we do have that like field engineers to give support to help the training to utilize the system. Yeah. But it actually comes online within weeks, and the patient's able to...
Look at her face. She ain't know that. The ethical police was caught lacking. Now, it don't take no years, right? Technology advances every day, right? The leaders of this place spend trillions of dollars every year to advance technology beyond points that we could even imagine. That's a major reason why the Most High getting ready to bam this place up. Because it's just like Nimrod, right? And the Tower of Babel. They getting too close to the Most High, right? And the only people who got access to the Most High is his people, Yasharallah. And there's only one way to get access to Yahweh. That's through Yahweh Shai. But the devil, he want to go a whole nother route. He want to build his tower. He want to cheat the code. He ain't want the blessing, right? He want to get it in how he want to get it in. And that's why the Most High going to destroy his ass, man. We go to the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. In verse 3 it says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time." And it's time. It's time right now. Right?
To do action using this utility of the system within a short period of time. Again, usually within the first 3 to 6 weeks, they're up and running and able to at least do some functionality. And I think we're learning as we go, and there's going to be more functionality. But we're excited because, again, this has real utility fairly quickly with this technology.
Anna, you look like you've got a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to underscore, I should say I have no financial relationship with any companies in this space, but what's so interesting about Synchron, right, is that they're, one of the only companies, if not the only company, that's avoiding direct neurosurgery. So I think what they're doing is really unique, and they've actually been able to make a lot of progress. And I would say in terms of clinical trials, they're further along than Neuralink, which maybe has gotten more attention in the media, but they're actually, Synchron's doing really the work on the ground.
Doing the work. So there's the hype, and then there's the work. Interesting. Yes, Karen, go ahead.
I think that, I think as we near the end of our time, a lot of these technologies that you have to implant, they're going to be...
Well, she had to make sure that she checked the time. She ain't know that.
happening in very, limited situations with a clinician or a researcher. And I think maybe something to be on the radar of viewers are this proliferation of commercially available wearable headsets and inner ear pieces that claim to record brain activity. And actually, the quality of most of those technologies is coarse, it's poor, but that really hasn't impacted their sale or deployment. And despite maybe not even accurately recording from the brain or really being able to derive much information about the brain, we're seeing them used in schools, we're seeing them being used in workplaces, and we've also heard reasonable concerns from parents and employers or employees who are wondering if there's going to be discrimination based on information that might not even be real, but thought to be real.
Right, Karen, if I may, so, let me just share this question with you, because our viewers are thinking the same thing. So Jijo says, this technology needs to be highly regulated and it should be done very strictly. Is that what you're saying, that it's out there and maybe not that great, and it's already in schools and in educational institutions?
Yeah, I think so. Right now, this is something that Anna said too. There are some regulations that these kinds of devices that collect biological or biometric information would fall under, but it's these inferences, these predictions about people and how they might behave and how they might think. Those are the types of things that aren't really protected yet.
So that means it exists. I forget that Tom Cruise movie where basically they would arrest you for a crime that you didn't even commit yet, right? So based off of the data of the things that you like, the things that whatever it was that you was with on social media, whatever, they would arrest you for crimes, for future crimes, right? I'm telling you, man, Esau lets you know what time it is, but they'll try to play it off like, you know what I'm saying, it's just fiction. Right? Then you'll see somebody actually doing what's being shown in the films. Then you'll see prototypes of that thing. Then it's normal in society. Right? The example I always use is the cell phone. Right? The cell phone and the smartwatch. We first saw those things on TV. Where do we see those things? Star Trek, right? On TV, Captain Kirk, beam me up, Scotty, man. How was he contacting Scotty? It was either on his watch or the flip phone, right? And it was all, man, that's so far in the future, it'll never. Then came that big ass, right, book bag on cell phone, and now here we are today. They have smartphones that actually do fold up and flip, right? Even though flip phones are really a thing of the past, but they still exist, right? But nevertheless.
And there's intergovernmental transnational efforts right now working on looking for those gaps in regulation. But right now it's really up to the company and the end user, and to kind of have, the end user needs to have good hygiene, look at what they can about their technology, follow those data policies as they can. Some of them are inscrutable. That's a problem. And for companies to be really looking ahead at the first misuse that they might anticipate with their technologies and to try to stay ahead of that.
Let me just give our audience one more example of what brain-computer interfacing can look like. And this is from a company called Cinetech. And what you see here is a gentleman called Thibault. He's in a French trial, and he has a brain implant which will then interface with a suit, which will mean, you can see it here, it's extraordinary, that Thibault, who can't walk unaided, is able to walk. What else is this technology able to do? If we look ahead into the future, what's possible? In a sentence, I'm going to go to all three of you. Predict the future. Anna, what is possible?
What's possible? I think...
I don't want to hear what they got to say. What's possible is that it could go all the way left, and Scripture really lets you know that's the idea for the whole thing. They can hit you with the soft voices, the pleasantries, right? Talk sweet, all that. None of that. It don't even matter, because at the end of the day, we fully understand who in charge, right? Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof, if not where or who is he? Right? It's the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. It's wicked. This devil got wicked plans. Right? If you're not in amongst him, if you're not in his circle, right? It's a wrap. Right? And at the end of the day, I said that's why the Most High finna bam this place up. Cause this devil getting way too deep in his pride. He real did think he God. Right? Or power. Well, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, right? You go to the book of Sirach, which is Ecclesiasticus, chapter 19 and verse 26. Says, there is a wicked man that hangeth down his head sadly, but inwardly he is full of deceit, casting down his countenance and making as if he heard not. Where he is not known, he will do thee a mischief before thou be aware. Right? But the Most High's people are aware, or the majority, or Salah, the remnant of the Most High's people that the Most High has chosen to be his elect are aware of Satan's devices. Right? We fully understand what time it is. It's the majority of the Most High's people that's in the dark. Right? And they're going to be in the dark until the Most High light their ass up with them ICBM missiles and them beams, them lasers from them chariots. And it's all because the majority of the Most High people love this world. They don't want to let it go. Right? And the Most High didn't give them the spirit to want to let it go no way. Right, so call Elohim La Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Yahweh Kakadash for blessing us with eyes to see and ears to hear, and the spirit of righteousness, spirit of truth, spirit of holiness, to be able to operate in to the best of our ability. Right, so this is the book of 1 John chapter 2 and verse 15, and I'll close out with this. It says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Those are the individuals that love this world, are the individuals who are going to take Revelation 13, who are going to accept the charagma. They're going to accept it, man, because they're going to make it seem so sweet like they just did. Hit you with the sad music and the soft words, right? This right here so we can make people walk in and so forth and so on. Nah, bro, he missed me with that, right? Because I fully understand what it is. Sirach 12:10. Sirach 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy. Never trust thine enemy. For like as iron resteth, so is his wickedness. Right? So I ended with that. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ratazah, these precepts in this video were edifying. Call Holoyim La Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Haracha Kodash. Shalom Yashalom.